Genius Kids. Cultivating love for learning.
Chapter 18. Origin of United Nations and its working. Learning points. Knowledge acquisition. After completing this chapter, we will be able to know about the birth of United Nations, the working of United Nations, the symbol of United Nations, the main organs of United Nations. Introduction. The high ambitions of European countries like England, Netherlands, Portugal and France led them to explore more and more trade with other countries. Slowly they established their own colonies there. Gradually, they brought their countries under their control and became more powerful and economically developed. At the same time, these European nations wanted to rule over the underdeveloped countries and began fighting among themselves for supremacy. This caused two major wars among the nations of the world. World War I, which was between two groups of countries, lasted into huge loss of lives and property. The war was the first of its kind. This disturbance gave rise to the need for an international body that would stop and solve such problems which erupted world peace. Hence, the League of Nations was set up in 1919 to prevent such a war in the future. However, it could not stop the upsurge of the Second World War in 1939 and failed to achieve its goal. The World War II lasted for about 6 years. It was more destructive than the First World War. The war ended when the USA dropped atomic bombs onto Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All the unfavorable conditions during the Second World War made people realize the need to replace the League of Nations by a more effective body that would help to stop wars between countries. This feeling gave birth to the origin of the United Nations Organization, UNO, also called the United Nations, UN. It was the result of three main leaders of strong and powerful countries, that is, American President Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Russian Prime Minister Stalin. The name UN was given by Franklin Roosevelt. The UN was officially declared on 24 October 1945 in San Francisco, USA, when 50 countries signed its charter. This day is celebrated all over the world as the UN Day. The UN headquarters complex is in New York, USA. At present, there are 193 member states in the UN. Objectives of the UN. The main objective of the UN is to achieve world peace and also maintaining international peace and security at each level. Developing friendly relations among nations of the world. Cooperating with nations in solving the economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian problems. Promoting social process and better standard of living. Protecting basic freedom and human rights all over the world. In respect of achieving these objectives, the UN issued a Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was adopted on 10th December 1948. So this day is celebrated as the Human Rights Day every year. Right to live as free citizen of a country, education and employment, freedom of worship, speech, writing, travel and equal pay for equal work and equality before the law are some of the important human rights selected in the declaration. Symbol of the UN. The symbol of UN is world map surrounded by two olive branches in white on a light blue background. These olive branches are a symbol of peace. The UN symbol was adopted on 20th October 1947. Main organs of the UN. The 5 principal organs of the UN Charter serve different functions. They are the General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. The headquarters of the International Court of Justice is situated in Hague, and all other 4 organs are located in New York. The UN family, however, is much large, having 15 agencies and several programs and bodies. The General Assembly, it is the largest body of the UN. It works like an international parliament and composed of all member states of the UN. It makes main policies, discuss budget matters, and peacekeeping efforts of the UN. The Assembly meets once every year. However, it can meet in a special session in case of some emergency. The Security Council. The Security Council of 15 members consisting 5 permanent members USA, UK, China, Russia and France, and 10 non-permanent members elected by the Council Assembly for a term of 2 years. This organ is responsible for maintaining peace and security among countries. The Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. The ECOSOC deals with social and economic problems. It helps to promote social progress, better living standard, and providing education to all. Its 54 member countries are elected for a term of 3 years by the Assembly. The various agencies of this council, like the World Health Organization, UNESCO, and UNICEF, work greatly in such fields. The International Court of Justice, it is also called the World Court, and is located at The Hague, Netherlands. It is judicial organ of the UN which settled international disputes peacefully. It consists of 15 judges elected by the General UN Assembly and the Security Council from different countries for term of 9 years. The Secretariat, it is the administrative organ of the UN, headed by the Secretary General. It carries out day-to-day tasks of the UN. The Secretary General is appointed for a term of 5 years and acts as the spokesperson and leader of the UN. It is his duty to report to the Security Council. The present Secretary General is Antonio Guterres of Portugal, who was appointed in 2017. Membership and official language of UN. The UN provides membership to all peace-loving nations. At present, there are 193 member countries of UN. It is the duty of the member countries to cooperate with the UN in achieving their goals, maintaining peace and security among the world. The UN has declared 6 major languages as its official languages. These are English, French, Russian, Spanish, Chinese, and Arabic. Continuous review. Some European countries wanted to rule over the underdeveloped countries. The World War II lasted for about 6 years. USA dropped the atom bombs onto Japanese cities Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The UN was officially declared on 24 October 1945 in San Francisco, USA. The UN headquarters complex is in New York, USA at present. The General Assembly, Security Council, ECOSOC, International Court of Justice, and Secretariat are the main organs of UN.
Like, share, and subscribe.